Good evening, folks, and live from Austin, Texas. This is the 3rd of January, year of our Lord 2011. Do you realize, guys, with this show here, the Jeff Davis Show enters its 22nd year of radio and television broadcasting? Wow. 22nd year. 10 years. Long running, that's right. And first off, I want to thank everybody for being here. First off, Mr. Gary Johnson, longtime Channel Austin producer, host, now currently on the Rule of Law Radio Network. To my left, actor Gary Teague, who is, quite frankly, you just pretty much pop up everywhere, don't you?
Try to.
I think you got something going on with NBC, I think.
Yes. And,
is Chase, the TV show Chase, is that NBC?
yeah, it is.
So you've got Chase, Friday Night Lights, Rachel Maddow. Just keep on with that NBC. Huh?
Yeah. They've been good to me.
You know, Comcast has taken them over. I don't know. They made a big change there.
Oh, is that right? And, of course, here's my lovely grandson, Jacob Allen Davis. Jacob, say hi. Say hi. Can Jacob Davis say Grandpa? Can Jacob Davis say Grandpa? What's that cow say? What's that there cow say?
He needs a cue card.
Yeah, he does. He's
teleprompter. That's what.
He's been talking quite a bit, but he's still learning down here. How many? 22 years, how many, what, is he like 22 months now, something like that?
Oh, yeah, just about. Jacob says school bus.
Jacob say school bus.
Jacob said mommy. Say mommy.
See, that Jacob Davis up there on TV. See Jacob Davis?
Say hi. Jacob.
There's Mama. Can Jacob say Mama?
What about?
Mommy or Daddy?
All right.
Okay, let me continue then. So we've got us four. We've got Wanda Davis, my daughter-in-law, is in the studio with us. Wanda, thank you. My lovely wife, Karen, is here today. My son, Jeff Davis Jr. You know, there would be no 22 years of Jeff Davis, at least TV, without my son. I remember he was like 8, 9 years old walking down here carrying equipment and stuff way back. And, of course, without this TV show, probably no commercial radio and probably no acting. So it's been pretty. And, of course, the lovely Lorraine Denardis is in the house. What can you say about Lorraine Denardis?
Well, she fixed Mike's computer.
Yeah, she fixed. She comes down here every time she comes down here. She contributes in unique ways. I remember one time when you were on with Dan Eggleston, we were showing Land of No Return.
Oh, okay.
And Dan brought down a little USB port clip of Z, a zombie musical, and Lorraine somehow got in there and fixed that. I didn't know what to do with it. She went in there and got it fixed up, and she's got a bachelor's degree in theater and film, working on her master's.
Yes. Well, she used to work for AT&T.
And she does stage management. It's really, really an asset behind the scenes, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
And she can even guest host and all that. And then, of course, Mike Hansen. What can you say about Mike Hansen?
In front of him?
His work has gone worldwide. Building the chapel in Waco, sneaking into Bohemian Grove with Alex. He's also the one solely responsible for the Search for Justice.
When I started working with you, my kids were that age. Now they're in their 20s.
That's right. Mike Hansen joined in on the show and took it up to well, actually, there was an official survey done of. No, I'm not trying to diminish your show, Gary, but there was an official survey done in 1999. It was ACAC at the time, and guess who was #1 spot.
Uh-huh.
And Live and Let Live was like 6 or 7. InfoWars was around in there. Trailer Park Show.
Yeah.
But this show, on an official ACAC survey, was the top-ranked show. And that's because of people
You
like
were even
Mike.
attracting friends back then.
Yes. And so it's been a great run. Now what we've got tonight is first off we're gonna I don't know too much about this Austin Police Monitor thing, but it's come to my attention, been reported that the former Travis County Sheriff Margo Frasier has been picked to be the Austin Police Monitor. Isn't that? And of course the lovely Chris Ritter outside. What do you think about that selection for Austin Police Monitor?
She's our girl.
Here's a woman that has publicly stated that she doesn't need a warrant.
Aww.
She is the one. She was sheriff at the time when Keith Ruiz got killed on that drug sting.
Yeah, but come on, you gotta feel the love for her.
Who's
now,
that
Jeff.
other woman? That Sharon Smith, Mike,
There's all kinds of stuff.
with under her as sheriff.
Well, she's so full of love, Jeff. Come
Oh
on.
yeah,
It's for the children.
she's really going to do a fabulous.
It's for the children.
She's
You were saying, how much is he going to get?
$140,000 a year for this Austin Police Monitor.
Well, feel the love, Jeff. She's back.
Mark, did you talk about this?
No.
No.
All right,
I,
Nate's fixed to call.
I think it's atrocious.
Oh, come on.
Knowing her history.
And Sandy Smith. Was she
Sandy Smith. Yeah, she terrorized Sandy Smith.
She didn't mean anything by that.
women.
She's a lovely lady.
She told Sandy Smith she didn't need a warrant.
Yeah.
She's a lovely lady. You know
And
we
this
love
is the
her.
woman now that's gonna correct the Austin Police Department.
That's right.
Isn't that wonderful, Gary? What do you think about that?
Well, as you said, Jeff is a fox guarding the hen house.
Yeah.
We love Margo. Hi, Margo. How you doing?
You, in fact, were trying to lobby her to quit these no-knock warrants
Well, hopefully it
because
worked.
people were getting killed.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of stuff underneath her. Our problem was the very first gay parade that they had here, where she was the grand marshal, and all the ladies that were having their hoo-hoos out with little chains going there and doing lewd acts in the middle of the street. And she was the grand marshal. I took that tape to city county commissioners. Ooh, they gave her a blasting.
But she was elected, so they really couldn't do it.
No, but they still
They could cut her budget.
gave a blasting to her.
Thanks,
That
Chris.
was a horrible course.
There's Nate on the phone.
Okay, Gary, what do you think about this? Ex-Travis County, Texas Sheriff Margo Frasier going to be the new Austin Police Monitor. What do you think? Thoughts about that?
Yeah, it's to me like a conflict of interest. I mean, totally. You would think of all the people qualified to do that position that they could have chosen, out of someone that wasn't necessarily had been in the law enforcement field.
Well, that's a good point. She should recuse herself every time something she knows comes before the board.
And two, the position, I'm really not sure all the aspects of it, but I do believe that it really doesn't have any much authority.
Right. That's part of the problem.
It's just,
So why is she getting paid?
yeah, in that kind of salary.
Well, we've got some interesting video coming up here that Nate Thomas put together, talking about the Keith Ruiz. Do you remember him? Right down there where we're shooting Friday Night Lights. There's a series of mobile homes in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, the Travis County Sheriff's Office did a drug raid on that thing, on that place, and the deputy ended up getting shot and killed. Keith Ruiz. Okay, so let's go with the man that basically brought this issue to my attention, Mr. Nate Thomas. You want him back?
He's eating the cord there.
All right, little fella.
We're still working on him. Okay, so let's bring up Nate Thomas, calling from Gonzales, Texas. Welcome, Nate. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, turn it up.
Oh, am I on?
You're up.
Oh, okay. The Margo Frasier. You know, when I found out they had appointed her, that was just that made me angry.
Well, Nate, you really didn't expect them to pick a civil libertarian, did you?
What's that?
You really didn't expect them to pick a civil libertarian.
I can't really hear you. I'm getting some kind of echo or something.
Okay. There were okay. My statement was you really didn't expect them to bring in a civil libertarian.
Oh no, and you know that position I think is just window dressing anyway. I was watching just earlier today. At Channel 6 they had the Citizens Review panel, and Margo Frasier was sitting in the audience. She doesn't get appointed till I think a few days from now or something. But they, you know, the way they addressed the citizens that were talking to that panel, you could see it's just some kind of a way to pretend to care about what the people think about it, and it's a I don't know, it's ridiculous. It's a window dressing thing.
Don't you feel better for the people of Austin that they got Margo Frasier in there monitoring the Austin police?
Yeah.
Isn't that a comforting feeling?
Yeah, I wish we could find that video where she says that she doesn't need a warrant. You know, that's beautiful. That's what she thinks of the police or of people's Fourth Amendment rights and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna play that video you put together. So. Okay, Nate.
All right.
Thanks for calling in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Before we do that, Mike Hanson's got a special little promotion, about a minute and a half. Mike recently, just in the last few days, got back from a trip with his lovely wife Melissa to Memphis, Tennessee, and they checked out the Elvis's mansion.
Did you ever?
And so with that, this is Mike Hanson from Memphis, Tennessee, folks, because just like a week ago. So let's see what he's got to say here. Okay, where it'll be just a minute. Okay.
We have to stretch.
Okay. Folks, if you'd like to call in, if you're watching or listening on Austin Time Warner or Grande Communications, cable TV channel 16, 477-2288. 477-2288. If you're watching or listening over the internet on the live stream at channelaustin.org, it's a pretty good stream they got cooking.
Yes, it is.
You've checked it out?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's viewable.
It is, yeah. Just had an area code 512-477-2288, 512-477-2288. Gary, tell us briefly about what you
Oh, I have a rant.
Yes, Gary's got a rant he wants to
know.
talk about.
So, this is something I bought in a store. It's a lock, all right, and this has to do with the war on terror. It's a lock that you can put on your luggage, all right. Maybe I can take it out here.
It has to do with the war on terror.
So you put this on your luggage. It's a combination lock, all right. But the selling point is it's called a TSA lock. The reason is this lighting is kind of dark in here, so I don't know if I can read this. It's too dark for me to read it, but it basically says that it's designed so that the Transportation Security Administration can open this lock.
Only them.
Well, you, the owner, of course, you can. So it's a worthless. It's a lock that doesn't lock. It says that they have special tools or a code, a security code, that allows them to open your lock. So why would you put this on your luggage if people can can unlock it? But
Travel safe TSA lock. There it is. Kind of a worthless. It's for the war on terror. Huh?
I'll help you talk over there.
Let's try a quick call here. Welcome. You're on Worldwide.
I don't know if there's any call, but I'll help. They're going to play that, and I'll help you talk over. It's only 30 seconds.
Okay, so here we go. We're ready with the clip from Memphis, Tennessee. Just about a week ago.
Week ago, I called in here.
Week ago. Here we go.
Okay, what this is, Jeff, is where everybody. You can keep the sound up. That's where everybody started to write their names all over the wall outside. I thought it was pretty weird. My wife said, "Oh, that's what they do now." I think I'd take a pressure washer. What about you, Jeff?
Yeah.
I think I'd take a pressure wash after it. And this is at night. They have I recommend anybody go at Christmas. Look how beautiful that is. They got it all fixed up and lit up at night.
Modern Rome.
Well, the movie stars these days, they have a lot better than this. This is not really that good, but it's just.
It's officially Elvis's mansion.
Yeah, I stayed right across the street. It's pretty nice.
That's it right
Hey,
there.
it was a little getaway like you get away to Ohio.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. They spend a lot of money. They said 1,000 people go through there in the winter and 3,500 in the summertime go through there. They just got bus after bus.
Here we go.
Well, this is the gates. The famous gates.
Yeah.
Where they won't let you through.
Pretty cool, Mike.
Yeah.
Looks like you had fun.
And here I do a little plug for here's a little plug for you, Jeff.
Hello, Austin. It's Mike Hansen. I'm standing in front of the Elvis Mansion. I don't know if Elvis is alive or dead, but what I do know is if you stay tuned right here, you can see the Jeff Davis Show. One of my good friends, Jeff Davis.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. God bless. Elvis's Mansion.
Exclusive video. Okay, folks, now we're going to go ahead and run the, I think, pretty good thing that Nate Thomas put together. It's a KI story about the Keith Ruiz situation, the sheriff deputy that was shot and killed, and then a follow-on with the Sandy Smith story. Of course, her house was raided. Wrongfully raided on a drug raid. You familiar with that story, Gary?
I think you should tell the story to the audience.
Well, the video will do that. Okay, so we'll be back in about 10 minutes,
Make
folks.
sure that this is bad quality because
this is.
But it needs to be said.
Okay, here we go. This is it right here.
Three years ago, last month, Central Texas was stunned when Travis County Deputy Keith Ruiz was shot and killed while serving a search warrant on the home of a suspected drug dealer in Del Valley, in southeast Travis County. 21-year-old Edwin De La Mora was convicted of capital murder and sentenced to life in prison. But this case may not be over tonight. A 2-year investigation by Nancy Wilson reveals startling evidence about that night and whether the death of Deputy Keith Ruiz could have been prevented. That's tonight's KI News Investigates.
February 15th, 2001. A night many will never forget. Just after 9 o'clock, Travis County deputies, as part of the Central Texas Narcotics Task Force, dressed in black military gear, lined up, ready to storm the home of suspected drug dealer Edwin De La Mora. But it didn't go as planned. The De La Mora said they never heard deputies announce they were the police.
My husband thought it was a robbery because we have high-rate burglaries over here. And so my husband was just trying to protect his family. And he has a gun, which is registered.
Edwin De La Mora's wife, Christy, was on the phone to 911.
Ma'am, I need you to calm down. My husband just got shot.
Her husband, Edwin, fired his gun through the window in the front door, killing Deputy Keith Ruiz. Deputy Keith Ruiz died. The community mourned the loss of a veteran officer and friend. Edwin De La Mora was charged with capital murder. It took jurors 2 days to reach a verdict.
Guilty of the offense of capital murder.
De La Mora was sentenced to life in prison.
On the night this happened, I was very proud of my officers because they played by the rules.
Well, it's questionable.
Richard Beeson was on the jury that convicted De La Mora. Now he's having second thoughts about hearing more about that night.
I'd like to look at it again. I had to go on. What I had to go on is what they claimed, and so I chose to believe that they made the proper announcement. However, hearing some new data, maybe that announcement wasn't so proper.
Leonard Martinez was De La Mora's defense attorney.
Given the ineptitude, given some of the bad motive involved, nothing about this case surprises me.
The first issue, the search warrant. Deputy William Poole gave a sworn statement to a judge claiming a confidential informant had given him the information about De La Mora. But later, the deputy admitted under oath he had never directly talked to the informant himself. The search warrant also states that officers did what's called a trash run. That's where officers pick up a suspect's trash can to look for evidence of drugs. Poole swore they found traces of drugs on a baggie found in De La Mora's trash.
I never saw it, and it was never produced at any of my requests.
The Sheriff's Department wouldn't produce it at our request either. They told us they wanted to wait until all of De La Mora's appeals had run out. They also didn't want to explain something else that didn't add up. According to the search warrant return, deputies found drugs in De La Mora's home. 39.6 grams of methamphetamines and a total of 56.7 grams of marijuana. But a year later, testimony by analysts from the DPS lab showed the amount seized was much less. 24.96 grams of meth and 38.1 grams of marijuana. There's no explanation to what happened to almost 15 grams of methamphetamine and 18.6 grams of marijuana. And then there was one of the principal deputies on the raid who was using illegal drugs. Craig Smith was named Deputy of the Year and awarded the Medal of Valor for shooting the gun out of De La Mora's hand during the raid. These are pictures of Smith at the annual Keith Ruiz benefit bench press competition. They were taken before Travis County Sheriff's Office Internal Affairs learned Smith had been illegally buying and injecting anabolic steroids. Smith admitted he'd been doing it for the past 7 or 8 years. Travis County Sheriff Margo Frasier described Smith as exemplary, but Internal Affairs records show twice in 1997 informants claimed Smith bought cocaine and other illegal drugs. And then there was a tip forwarded from the DEA about an informant who says he sold drugs to Deputy Smith the night before the De La Mora raid. According to this memo, the sheriff's office decided not to investigate. As for the illegal steroids, Craig Smith wasn't arrested, charged, or prosecuted. He wasn't fired either. However, he was suspended without pay for 45 days.
What we felt was a just solution was, quite frankly, the most severe discipline ever handed out in the history of the sheriff's office, as far as I know.
Except for being fired.
But at the end, he was able to. And I think sometimes that, quite frankly, short of firing can sometimes be more severe.
Not all of Deputy Smith's supervisors agreed. One wrote, "It is my belief that Craig's illegal actions discredit not only his past recognizable performance, but the exceptional men and women who have worked alongside him, the law enforcement profession, and the Travis County Sheriff's Office. The validity of awards and recognition for his acts of heroism is questionable when it's learned that his actions may have been the result of a drug-induced delusion, euphoria, or aggression. His use of steroids will undoubtedly be implicative in litigation surrounding the conviction of a defendant for the death of a fellow deputy." KI News Investigates has also learned that De La Mora was not exactly a stranger to the sergeant who led the raid that night. Sergeant Richard Hale acknowledged that De La Mora had done remodeling work for the sergeant. That, along with questions about whether the officers really announced that they were police before entering De La Mora's home and Craig Smith's drug use, is information juror Richard Beeson says should have been presented to the jury.
The thing is that with this new information, perhaps there should be an appeal, and so that the jurors can look at the total picture.
Months later, later, this same Central Texas Narcotics Task Force conducted another raid on a trailer in Del Valle. This time, an unarmed teenager was asleep on the sofa and was shot and killed by deputies as they stormed the home. The county attorney's office settled a suit by the victim's family for $100,000. A federal suit was also settled for $40,000 over an earlier incident where the task force raided a home without a search warrant, only to find the owners were growing ragweed instead of marijuana. The Central Texas Narcotics Task Force is no longer in existence. Now, the Travis County Sheriff and the officers mentioned in the story were given several opportunities to comment. Travis County Sheriff Margo Frasier responded by writing. She says, "My deputies and I will not follow you down the rabbit trails you have chosen to roam, and I would encourage anyone with questions about the Sheriff's Office and how it runs to go to our Sheriff's Citizens Academy classes that are held twice a year." Nancy Wilson, KI News Investigates.
4 weeks ago, the appeals court issued a decision affirming the verdict in the case against Edwin de la Mora. But with new information, defense attorneys are planning to file a new appeal. As we always do, we'll stay on top of this story and let you know what happens next.
I've lived here 30 years. In the past year, I've had more harassment than I've ever had in my whole life before. The health department has been out here 13 times. The sheriff has been here twice. The people that live here have been harassed. If we wasn't such good friends, they'd probably all move. The Hilltop, which has been there 30 years, has been totally harassed too, which I hate that because my husband was a musician. He used to just, walk over there across the field, and sit down and play his guitar at the Hilltop. And I can't imagine anybody doing that now. You'd have to cut through fences and they'd turn in complaints and everything else. We've totally lost our freedom here. And I'm at the point in my life, I'm 56 years old. I would like to just, live my life peacefully. I finally got to the point where I thought I could just take it easy a little bit, But,
well, the cherry on top was the black helicopter and the troops.
Yeah, that is total intimidation. I mean, how can somebody do that? All they would have to do is ask me. All the sheriffs know me. All they'd have to do is just say, "Sandy, somebody said you had some funny looking plants behind your place." I'd say, "Well, have at them.
Well,
I have nothing to hide. This is my homestead."
Well, we need to find out who filed the false complaint.
Nobody will tell me.
Well, you can do an open records request.
Really? Okay, Margo Frasier, I thought that everybody had to, everybody was entitled to the right to have a legal warrant to search your place. I mean, that's what I thought. But the way she talked, if it had anything to do with drugs, they don't have to have a warrant. But
that's not true.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what my rights are.
Well, your lawyer says they need a warrant. It's everybody. I mean, that's the Fourth Amendment.
Is it? Okay. Well, you say so. I mean, I don't know.
They have to have a warrant signed by a judge with oath or affirmation with a list of things, persons, and papers and effects to be seized. Now, that's the law. That's the Supreme Court rulings. So that's the fact. They violated your Fourth Amendment big time and all these other homes and domiciles. Mm-hmm. So believe me when I tell you they violated your Fourth Amendment. That's the point we have to make absolutely clear here. Because I'm going to get mad about this, not you. Mm-hmm. Let's make this absolutely clear. Sandy, did they ever, when they first got here or for the 45 minutes they were here, did they ever give you a warrant?
No, they never gave me a warrant. But the men were fairly nice. It was that woman that was so bitchy.
Margo Frasier admitted that there was no warrant.
Okay, Margo Frasier admitted there was no warrant.
Yeah, Margo Frasier admitted there was no warrant.
I mean, this is happening all over the country, Sandy. How does this make you feel about our government and what's happened?
Well, it makes me feel really sad because I always thought this was a free country. I thought everybody had the right to have their own place and not be harassed like this. Especially if you put this much of your energy and your lifeblood and everything into your home, and then to have them come and invade my privacy and my home this way, and ruin my reputation, it really hurts. Okay, I'm Sandy Smith, and it was my day off from work. I was standing out by my van, and anyway, this helicopter started circling right above my place, and I didn't know, what was going on. And one of my neighbors called me. See, I have my little phone, I was carrying around. One of my neighbors called and said, "Sandy, they're taking pictures of your place." And I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "This guy over here next to me, he's been suing me for the past year, and he's called like the health inspectors on me 13 times." And I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "He's taking pictures of my place. He's going to use it against me in court." So I called Sybil. You know, she's been helping me, and this guy has been paying her to help me because I don't have very much money.
She's your lawyer?
Yes, she's my lawyer, and he's been paying her to, defend me against this guy over here. Okay, so I tried to call her, and she was gone. So she wasn't there, so I called this gentleman that's been, paying her to help me. And he said, and I said, this helicopter is circling. I said, they're taking pictures to use against me in court. And I said, what can I do about it? I said, it just scared me to death. And he said, that guy wouldn't spend that kind of money to hire a helicopter to take pictures to use against you in a lawsuit. He's not going to spend that kind of money. He said, this has got to be something else. And then Dave came out and he said, this is like Vietnam. Okay. And then then all of a sudden it was just like hell broke loose. There was cars, there was vans, there was this woman jumped out of this vehicle. I was standing over there behind my van talking to this guy on the phone, and she said, throw that phone down, spread out on this van. And I was just, it just terrified me. I did that, and I leaned against my van, and she had this gun on me, and I didn't know what I had done. I said, what is going on? And then after this happened, she made me stand out there in the hot sun for a few minutes. And then Wayne, this guy here, he was, we was putting some dirt around and stuff on my flower beds. And he come up wheeling a wheelbarrow, and they grabbed him. And these guys were just swarming all over the place. These guys had arms like tree trunks. They had tattoos all over them. And anyway, he came wheeling up this wheelbarrow of dirt. And when he did, they grabbed him, throwed him down right here. And then Dave, he had come out of the house. They grabbed him and throwed him down here. And then the other guy that has this little house over here, he was fixing to go to work at 3 o'clock. He was taking a nap. They banged on his door, and then when he come to the door, they grabbed him. He had 5 M16s in his face. They dragged him out of the house, brought him over here, and throwed him over there. Okay, and then finally, she let me, that woman said, okay, well, and they were just all over the place. And finally, this woman come over here, and she said, I'll go ahead and let you sit over there by them. So she let me sit right here. So I was sitting right here. I asked Dave, Dave, can I have a drink of Coke or something? So he got up to hand me my Coke. And she said, you sit back down or you will be handcuffed. And I said, well, I was just wanting to get a drink of Coke. And so anyway, then she called one of the big guys over. She said, I want this man handcuffed. He is a menace to my safety.
Okay, folks, coming up here after the show, you all have been there, the Bakehouse, after show get-together. What's right there? 5404 Menchaca. And for information about this show, comments, questions, information about the Bakehouse, area code 512-292-0070 for info, 292-0070. Gary Teague, what'd you think about that little piece of video we played?
Well, I remember a president not long ago that told us exactly what the Constitution was, that it was a worthless GD piece of paper. So I guess with that kind of attitude, that kind of infiltrates down through the ranks, and it's gotten to where the Constitution is not even considered an abuse of our rights and privileges.
So you see our civil liberties definitely under attack.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
By the way, Google Gary Teague, folks, for his impressive acting resume. Gary Johnson, what do you think about that video we watched?
First of all, I want to thank Nate Thomas for getting that, because that was an amazing piece of video we saw. And I want to say that Nancy Wilson, the reporter on the first piece, is a great reporter. I think she's still in Austin. I think she's changed stations with KI, and I think she's with KXAN now.
Yeah.
And she does fantastic work. That was an amazing report. My first reaction actually was, I'm shocked that the man who, as I understood the story, the man was in his home, and the police come bursting in. They didn't say they were the police, and he shot in self-defense, as far as I'm concerned. And I think it's terrible that he's in jail, he's in prison for defending himself, because if burglars or people, it's a home invasion. If you don't know what's going on, and I would say even if they did announce themselves, he still has a right to defend himself. But they didn't announce themselves, and this happens all the time. It's not just happening here. There's a celebrated case, and I can't remember the guy's name, that's been the subject of actually a documentary. So I really feel sorry for Mr. Delamore, and they said something about filing a lawsuit. I don't know what happened with that. That police officer who apparently Delamore shot somebody who was coming in. Somebody else shot Delamore, and the guy who shot him, Craig Smith, he's some sort of hero according to Margo Frasier, but actually he was taking drugs himself. That was an amazing piece of information that came out of that. He's on steroids and apparently maybe involved with illegal drugs himself. And they gave him a slap on the wrist. So this is a preview of what Margo Frasier is going to be doing as the police monitor, what she did with Craig Smith. And they also then did another raid and shot this teenager in a trailer.
That's right. Remember that, Mike? They killed that kid.
Yes,
they killed that kid. Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
So they apparently they're just going and shooting now. They don't say police. They just go and start shooting immediately. That's their lesson they got from this. And she calls it a rabbit hole. Don't go looking down this rabbit hole. So this is a preview of what Margo Frasier is going to be like. And I'm so glad that Nate Thomas preserved that video. And of course we were looking at the Sandy Smith case where they had no warrant. And Alex is referring to the Fourth Amendment. I don't know if I can recite the whole Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, papers, houses, and effect from unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be infringed, nor shall any warrants be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the thing or person to be seized. So it has to be issued by a judge. I think I left some part out there, and it has to be done according to the procedure. And as far as Margo Frasier's concerned, they don't even need a warrant.
I think just anybody that would say that this new awesome police monitor filled by Margo Frasier, the former Travis County sheriff, is going to be some kind of civil libertarian or a real monitor of the awesome police department is what Ed Schultz would call on MSNBC plain old-fashioned psycho talk.
Yes.
Would you say?
Absolutely. And I think that this is really in our face because, they could have, Nate was saying on the phone that the monitor is just kind of
Here's the
big finger.
thing about the teen's shot you were talking about.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Was that under Margo, too? So at least two people killed that we know of under her.
Right. And, this is, it's window dressing. The police monitor is window dressing up until now. Now she's going to be acting for defense. It's going to be worse than window dressing. It's going to be cover up and, we don't even, we're not going to punish people. And I think it's not only going to be
unarmed and asleep.
Yes,
unarmed and asleep.
It's not only going to be not punishing people, but the monitor is going to have access to information that I think she's going to squelch. She's going to prevent us from knowing what's going on. She's going to cover up, not just in terms of giving somebody a slap on the wrist, but also making sure that we don't know all the facts. The public doesn't know all the facts.
Absolutely. So there you have it, folks. The Austin, Texas power structure, if you will, basically showing their hand, wouldn't you say? They're showing their hand.
Yes.
Keeping everything right there.
The only thing that seems to protect us are lawsuits that people file. But if they can't get the information, if evidence is destroyed or it disappears, there was a little bit in that Nancy Wilson piece about how some of the evidence seemed to have been tampered with in that case. Well, I think we're going to see more of that. Only the police monitor is supposed to be making sure that doesn't happen. not only is not going to make sure it's not going to happen, a double negative, but she may be making it happen herself.
That's right. Just like you say, just another tool of the establishment. Yeah, that's about it, folks. That's what you get here. And like you said earlier, this is going on everywhere.
Right. Yeah. People go. These task forces go in on these raids, and they don't announce themselves. They say later they announce themselves. People are at home. It's at night, and somebody wakes up and says, "What's going on?"
They see a guy out there wearing a ski mask.
Yes. And they shoot.
And they think that they're getting burglarized.
Yeah, it's one of these home invasions, which do happen.
Yeah, with people wearing ski masks. What's the difference between the Travis County Sheriff's deputies wearing black ski masks on something like this and a burglar wearing black ski masks?
Nothing.
There's no difference. So, folks, this is what you get. This is what you're getting here in here in Austin, Texas. So, I think
it's just an insult. I mean, it's not just a bad decision. It's really this had to have been done quite deliberately. They could have picked anybody, and they went right out of their way to pick Margo Frasier
for $140,000 a year just to cover up ATD issues.
Yes.
That's about what it amounts to.
And APD has had plenty of issues.
They certainly have. They've killed a lot of people here in the last 10 years. As Travis County.
It seems like those little cameras on the squad
they always seem to be turned off. Yeah, the VCR, they always seem to be turned off when something comes down. But we have hope. Now they can go to Margo Frasier and get resolution out of it. Welcome. You're on Worldwide.
Hey, Jeff, I just wanted to tell you this, Morris. I just wanted to tell you, I didn't like any of the 4 or 3 people that were up for police.
Of course.
And obviously I agree with you that Margo Frasier is like absolutely the poorest choice. But none of them I didn't care for.
Well, Morrison, you really didn't think they were going to bring in a civil libertarian, did you?
Well, no, but it's just this goes back to what I've been
last
saying
week
quite some time. Lack of leadership with Marcotte and our city council, but no, she's absolutely the most horriblest person I could even imagine. But I did want to also say that I think the police monitor's office is always, from its inception till now, been totally just useless. I mean, it has no value whatsoever. I mean, people don't understand that. I mean, they're not an investigative or a
right.
They're not someone that can do anything. It's
they don't
just
have any subpoena power.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Gary, I didn't hear you.
They don't have any subpoena power, for example.
No, they have no power at all. They can't do anything at all. I mean, they can make a recommendation. I mean, you and I can make a recommendation. I mean, no, they can't.
Yeah, for a whole lot less than 140,000.
So I mean, people that go down there and still to this day, people don't understand that they can't do anything.
Yeah.
So they go down there and they don't understand that really it's just a rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's what it is. To me, it's the Austin power structure playing their hand.
Yeah,
and I think it was Marcotte. Morrison, I think it was Marcotte that made the pick, the city manager. So you were talking about that last week.
What's that now?
Marcotte, I think, is the one that made the.
Yeah, he's our city manager.
He made the pick for Margo Frasier.
Yeah, I mean, even with the utilities, I mean, there were a lot of people in the community that said they were really disappointed in the people that they picked over Austin Energy. And a lot of people said that out of the 2 people that they narrowed it down to, that neither one of them were really qualified. And, I mean, he's hired a lot of people that are just, he picks from pools of people that aren't qualified. And I know since Chief Kerr's joined the fire department as our fire chief, we've had, in her 18 months, 70 firefighters retire from the Austin Fire Department.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, anytime there's a problem, you can always look at the top. And
Cool. Thanks a lot. Well, hey, Morrison, you on Facebook?
No, I'm going to be on Frontline Texas Wednesday. I talked to Steve Mason earlier, and I want to try to get some people on there to talk about some of these issues. But we got this situation with Chief Kerr. She promoted 2 lieutenants to the number 2 spot in the fire department a while back, and since she's been our fire chief, she's just made some horrendous decisions. And we'll be talking about some of the same things Wednesday.
You want to play 30 seconds of Margo Frasier being confronted when we asked her about the health?
Yes.
Real quick.
Okay, we got some video coming up, Morrison. We'll keep it right here. Okay, let's do now. We've got some 30 seconds of. Here we go.
A bunch of conspiracy theorists, Sheriff. You know these helicopters are being used, Sheriff. These helicopters are being used for surveillance. You know they're putting flare on them. You admitted it.
Yeah, they're putting flare on.
What about the feds? We stopped the Delta Force. What about the Delta Force, Sheriff?
Jaywalking. Citizen's arrest.
You want the microphone out of your face? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry for trying to report the news.
Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. What do you think?
That was jaywalking.
There's better quality.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff, though. Folks, we're gonna go out here with let's go about 5 minutes of that, me and Alex, and then we'll be back to wrap it up, Mike. So what do you guys, tell them about your radio show.
On Sunday night, 8 p.m., 90.1 FM here in Austin.
ruleoflawradio.com.
Ruleoflawradio.com. Streaming live worldwide.
Sunday nights, 8 to 10, ruleoflawradio.com. And here in Austin, 90.1 FM. Gary, tell us about what we're doing Saturday.
Heading to the big city of Gonzales for an audition for a Western that takes place during the Civil War. And that should be interesting. I believe the director...
Right there it is. Go ahead.
That was really nice. On his first feature, he got distribution on it.
Yeah.
So that's a real...
Did I read that right? He's a Gonzales grad?
I believe so.
I think so. Yeah, from a Gonzales native.
And I believe he went to, what was it?
I met him in the barber shop.
Did you?
Yeah, and he said he...
Well, we're going down. There's a casting call in Gonzales. If you want information, GonzalesCannon.com is where we're getting that from. But there's a casting call from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Gonzales. And Gary and I are going to go down. Now, I got to say, Gary.
What's the movie about?
It's a Western back in the 1800s, and it specifically calls for thin body types. So I'm going down there, not overly optimistic.
We can play bankers.
Yeah.
But maybe once they see my impressive resume and headshot, maybe they'll just say, we got to have him in there.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, we ready with the me and radio superstar Alex Jones? Here we go. Okay, 5 minutes, and we'll wrap it up.
The mass media and the slave masters who control the system want us griping and, he's a conspiracy theory, he's a conspiracy. What we face is a conspiracy, Alex Jones. No, there's no doubt whatsoever it is a conspiracy. And it started, this current problem started in 1776 with Adam Weishaupt, a Zionist, who created a document called Order of the Illuminati. A Zionist who created a document called Order of the Illuminati. System want us griping and, he's a conspiracy theory, he's a conspiracy. What we face is a conspiracy, Alex Jones. No, there's no doubt whatsoever it is a conspiracy. And it started, this current problem started in 1776 with Adam Weishaupt, a Zionist, who created a document called Order of the Illuminati. And in that document, one of his philosophies was that through generations and through control of international finance, that they would eventually buy up the world. And with the World Bank, the Federal Reserve, the IMF, the International Bank of Settlements, this is exactly what they have done. They believe that they are rulers and that they are gods, and that the world's masses should cater to their whims. And if you look at a lot of the people in this society, there's a certain amount of truth to that.
Well, I got to tell you something.
There's a lot of sheep-like people out there that.
I've got to tell you something right now, Jeff. A year ago, I already had an Access show, and I'd watch your show, and a lot of the stuff you'd say I knew was true, but I wasn't ready.
First off, you got the Federal Reserve Bank, which you're going to be at a little seminar apparently this Saturday.
Yeah.
And if the Federal
Sunday,
if the Federal Reserve is not discussed, then everyone there is wasting their time. Now, how this conspiracy, and that's what it is, Alex, works, and I'll just touch
peer pressure.
It's that by control of resources at the top, they have created all various foundations, front groups, religious organizations that control resources and information at the top. By doing that, they're controlling thought processes, which means they're creating the left wings, the right wings, all the different
order out of chaos.
And the thing that order out of chaos. Of course, if you have an enemy, a clear-cut enemy, you're going to brainwash the public to believe that they are the enemy, when in fact they're the ones that are fighting for U.S. sovereignty. They're the ones that are fighting the globalists and their biodiversity treaties and their land grabs. And keep in mind, Alex, and I got a book here that was given to me by a former CIA operative, Terry Reid. Very detailed book. It's called Compromise. Is they themselves create the different, like we talked about, the order out of chaos. In other words, they bring the drugs in here, launder it through major banks, launder the money through major banks, and then turn around and have a drug war. It's the same thing with the environment. They have to come up with different schemes, Alex, to control people's property, control people's lives and property. And you mentioned the CIA, which was created by the Council on Foreign Relations in 1943. So it is a mechanism created by the CFR. The Council on Foreign Relations was a British spin-off of the old International Institute of Royal Affairs.
Yes.
It began in 1919. This is one of the latest charts of the Council on Foreign Relations and Trial.
I have this chart.
Okay, if we could put that up there. And keep in mind that this is just two of the various front groups that actually are some of the players in it are controlling America. And I've heard people say, well, they give fluff stories because that's what the people want, or we've got all these laws because that's what the people want. Let's face it, Alex. Anybody that sees what's happening knows that that's a fraud right off the top, because the people aren't requesting anything. They're being fed this information and they just react. The people are not demanding fluff stories. They're not demanding any type of, they're just responding to what they're being fed. They're being manipulated around. The Federal Reserve Act, which passed December 23rd, 1913.
All righty, folks. I'm back for the last 2 minutes. What do you think, Gary? Pretty solid show?
Yes.
You think we made the point about the Austin Police Monitor?
Well, is there anything we can do about this?
Just expose it. Fight the information war. That's all you can do. That's the way I figure. We're in an information war.
Well, I think that video you showed earlier, that was really important for people to see.
I do too. Thank Nate Thomas again, huh? Yeah. The final comments.
I don't know. I don't have any final comments.
We're on next week. Live again. Yes. So if you want to come on down, you're welcome. All right. Gary Teague, final comments.
Nate did a great job, and as far as the police monitor position, that's the biggest farce they got going. They need to do away with it. As it is, it's totally worthless.
Well, it's even worse than that, because now they'll be in a position to cover up even more.
Yeah.
It's even worse than just useless. And Jacob Allen Davis. Say hi, Jacob. What do you got there, huh? What's that? Jacob Allen. What do you think of him, Gary?
He's quite aggressive. He said,
not too many 22-month-olds can say they've been on live television.
Yes, indeed.
Getting him started right, Gary?
Right. He's my little pal. Jake.
Give Gary 5. High five. There you
wow,
go.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, give this Gary high five. And say Grandpa. Say Grandpa. Okay, folks, that's it. We'll be back. We are scheduled to be back here live next week. Bakehouse coming up here in a few minutes. And that's it. There you go. Check out our Facebook page. It's